Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to give a bit of a warning. Don't get ripped off with Glory of Team Rocket. I've been sitting here over the weekend. Glory of Team Rocket came out last weekend. Or this past weekend. And I've been sitting here watching. It's been Easter. I've been chilling with my babies, having a lot of fun. But I've been keeping an eye on what's going on as we've been over there. And Glory of Team Rocket is frankly getting a little bit dumb. And by a little bit dumb, I mean incredibly dumb. And the thing is, like, over in Japan, it's not like this is some kind of super nice, easy to get set. The lovely OKJ Love, someone for whom we have a lot of love, wonderful member of the Pokemon community, tweeted out a long line of people who were queuing to get 5 booster packs of Glory of Team Rocket from a popular card store in Akihabara. Haruya 2. If you've been to Japan, you've probably been to this store, honestly. And, you know, OKJ Love pointed out that it's very hot in Tokyo right now, and people are big queues to try and get 5 packs of the set. By the way, the reason it's such a popular shop is basically because a lot of card shops in Japan, very hard to find. Hidden in buildings, never on the first couple of floors, always in very thin buildings, shop signs in Japanese, whereas this is one of the few where you just kind of walk past it and it's right there and you see it. It's one of the reasons why it's such a popular shop. But the point is, in Japan right now, people are queuing in intense heat for 5 packs of the set. So I'm not saying it's some kind of easy thing to do over in Japan, but I am saying things are getting dumb. And the problem is, when things get dumb, it is right for people to try and rip people off. Like, if we go over to eBay right now, and we have a look at Glory of Team Rocket, and we try and buy ourselves a booster box, well, dumb was a word I used, dumb is a word I still use. If you're lucky, you can get yourself a box for about $150. There are a few there for $130. One of the things I want to point out is most of the $130 have no shrink wrap on. Now look, I am not saying that anything untoward is happening with any of these sellers. I don't know. I've not used them. I do know that Japanese packs are weighable. And the boxes in Japan have guaranteed hits. 3 illustration rares or artwork rares as they call them. And 1 proper secret rare, which is a full art or above. And I do know that these packs can be emptied and restocked. And I'm not saying the people on eBay are, I don't know. But I'm telling you it is possible. I'm also telling you that spending $130 on a box with no shrink wrap that could have been tampered with, it's not something I'd recommend on a personal level. And I know a lot of shops do sell it without shrink wrap to try and stop reselling, but honestly that should work. The whole point is they take the wrapper off so that people can't trust the seller. So take a hint from that and don't trust the seller, unless you know them for a fact. Because the retail right now is 5,500 yen, which is $39. About a quarter, just under a quarter, just over a quarter, of what is being charged over in the US right now. $150 for these boxes is dumb. The thing is, as I told you t'other day, let's imagine that you are, in fact, spending $150 on a box of Glory of Team Rocket, which I will not be doing and I do not recommend. But let's say, for argument's sake, you do. What can you pull from that box which actually makes it worth it? Well, $150 is basically 21,000 yen. How many cards in Japan are above 21,000 yen? Well, I told you this the other day. It's Giovanni's Mewtwo or Team Rocket's Mewtwo and Team Rocket's Moltres. That's it. They are the only 2 cards in the set worth more than $150. Now, if you buy a box and you happen to pull exactly one of those two cards, the odds of pulling exactly one of those two cards is low. But let's say you do pull exactly one of those two cards. You made your money back. You made a bit of money on it. But the odds of doing so are incredibly low. So you can't be doing this. Boxes at this stage are completely... You can't purchase them. You cannot go and buy boxes right now for $150. It makes no sense. You can go on Japanese sites and buy cards, and that's going to be fine. The problem is, you kind of do have to go on Japanese sites. Because if we stick on eBay, for instance, and we have a little bit of a look at the Special Art Rare Mewtwo, the price is absolutely... It's a $400 card. And to be clear, it is not a $400 card. Over in Japan, I can buy this card today, right now, for 48,000 yen. And not for nothing, Japanese card shops, their standards are high. And also, they ain't going to rip you off because they can't afford to. So not only are they cheaper, but they're actually considerably more reliable. 48,000 yen, $340. Well, that's $70 less. And again, when I say $70 less, I don't want you to just look at the price here. I want you to think about the difference between ordering from some rando on eBay or ordering from a proper Japanese shop online that actually has an incentive not to rip you off. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is the point where you go, wassy, wassy, wassy. Why are we using Japanese card shops? What about places like Mercari? Why don't we just go on to Mercari and buy these expensive singles, these boxes, etc. from Mercari? Well, I've got many different answers right now. One of my main answers is, do you read and speak Japanese? If you are comfortable with your Japanese language skills, then yes, navigating a site like Mercari is a lot easier. You will find it much easier to find the sellers that are reputable. You will find it much easier to fix issues that may arise if you have issues buying off Mercari. If you don't speak Japanese, read Japanese, write Japanese, might I strongly suggest, and you can do what you like, of course, but might I strongly suggest not playing around with sites like Mercari without being super careful. And yes, using third-party tools that will help to, mitigate some of this risk, obviously a decent idea. That's something which we absolutely could get behind. But the point is, you go over to Mercari, right? And you go and pick up one of these Mewtwo, okay? Do you know it's going to be great? Do you know it's going to be trustworthy? Can you guarantee the condition? Because I'm not sure many of you can, and that's not a bad thing. But my point is, it's a lot of money to be spending over on Mercari if you're not sure. Because actually, over on Mercari, you can pick these up for about £250, which comes in at about $335. Actually, a little bit cheaper than the Japanese card sites. It's actually cheaper to pick it up on Mercari. But again, I would recommend quite strongly that unless you are sure or using some kind of third-party thing, which is checking if they're legit, I would recommend rather strongly not doing so. Now, in terms of Japanese card shops, I don't want to sit here and start giving you a list because I don't want to say, go here, these are definitely legit. What I will tell you is I use Card Rush. I use it for Pokemon cards. I use it for One Piece cards. I like Card Rush. It is a site I have had a lot of success with in the past. It's a site I've used in the past, and it's a site I will use again. Now, in terms of how to use this, I personally use it through a proxy service. That's how I go about doing this. I get it shipped to a proxy address in Japan. I use Tenso, not recommending, just telling you what I use. and I get it shipped on from there with a bunch of other stuff because I import quite a lot from Japan. Well, relatively. Bunch of magazines, bunch of cards and sets and things of that nature. You can use a company called Buy, which operate through sites like Card Rush, and essentially they act as the proxy all in one. You order, they ship it over. I've not used Buy and cannot recommend it. So I'm not here to give you a step-by-step guide of exactly how to order these cards from these Japanese sites, because I have not investigated every site, every service. I cannot come here and tell you what the best are. I've not got the time or resources to really do that investigation. I can tell you I use Card Rush, and it's a site I like very much. I can tell you I use Tenso as a proxy service, which is a site that I like very much. And I can tell you I have friends that have used Card Rush using Buy and have had positive experiences. There are a bunch of other websites that can be used. UUT is another one I've heard good things about. Again, not recommending, just telling you that I've heard good things about it. What I can tell you is, right now, unless you are a serious collector of Japanese cards, and I know some of you are, I would skip this set. Not forever. We know Japan likes to do reprints, let's let it all calm down a bit. Boxes are ridiculous, singles in the West are ridiculous. If, like me, you are a serious collector of Japanese Pokemon cards, your best bet right now is to buy from Japanese websites using proxy services, which incidentally is not without risk. And I'm not saying you should, I'm not recommending any particular sites. I have told you what I use. But any risk you have to assume yourselves, these things can be a bit of a pain. Which is why I say, if you're not a serious collector of Japanese cards, it's probably just too annoying right now to deal with. But that's where we are. Things have been getting silly for a little while with Japanese cards. I've not yet been able to actually buy a box of Hot Air Arena, which makes me sad. I'm just going to buy a bunch of singles, it'll be fine. But I've also not been able to source a box of Glory of Team Rocket, which is also super annoying. But I'm sure at some point it will get a little bit better. I have faith for now. I've told you what you need to know, and now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about all of this. Have you tried picking up any Japanese cards? Do you care? What's your experience been like? Do you have any sites you would recommend? Let me know in the comment section. Get us! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. And get shoutouts on the channel like the lovely Eric Ridgway, who's been a supporter of ours for a while now and seems to be a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.